Welcome to the realm of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Enjoy listening. Randall Rogers was a man of unparalleled ambition and vision, a titan of industry whose name was synonymous with success and wealth. Listed among the world's wealthiest individuals, Randall's accomplishments were legendary, yet his passions extended far beyond boardrooms and financial charts. Among his most intriguing interests was his lifelong fascination with space and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. He was a firm believer in the existence of beings beyond Earth and harbored a deep-seated desire to communicate with them. Throughout his life, Randall had poured millions into the Space Research Council, an organization dedicated to exploring the cosmos and uncovering its secrets. His donations had funded numerous projects from deep space probes to advanced telescopes. Despite his significant contributions, Randall yearned for something more, a personal encounter, an experience that would bring him closer to the stars he admired. One day, the opportunity he had long dreamed of presented itself. The Space Research Council reached out with an extraordinary offer. They invited Randall to join an upcoming mission to Vega Colony, a settlement known for its advanced civilization and peaceful coexistence with other species. This was their way of honoring his unwavering support. Randall could hardly contain his excitement. "Count me in," he responded immediately. The following day, Randall arrived at the council's headquarters, joining a diverse group of travelers. The majority were scientists and researchers, experts in their fields, who were eager to study Vega Colony's culture and technology. The remaining participants were wealthy benefactors like Randall, invited as a gesture of gratitude for their contributions. As the spacecraft lifted off, Randall gazed out the window, his thoughts racing. He imagined the possibilities that awaited him: alien landscapes, interstellar marvels, and perhaps, if fortune smiled upon him, a chance to meet an alien woman, a dream that had occupied his mind for years. The journey was long, and the passengers filled the hours with discussions and speculations about what lay ahead. Randall participated occasionally, but his mind was preoccupied. He clutched a suitcase, its contents a mystery to everyone but himself. Finally, the spacecraft descended onto Vega Colony, and Randall's first glimpse of the settlement took his breath away. The colony was a harmonious blend of nature and technology, with towering crystalline structures that shimmered under the light of twin suns. Streets were alive with beings of various shapes and forms, each carrying an air of sophistication and purpose. Upon landing, the group was briefed by the colony's representatives. Scientists were guided toward research facilities, while the benefactors were given free time to explore the colony at their leisure. Randall, suitcase in hand, chose to wander alone, his curiosity guiding his steps. As he strolled through the bustling streets, something caught his eye: a woman, distinctly alien yet strikingly graceful, emerging from a marketplace. Her skin had a faint iridescent sheen, and her movements were fluid, almost hypnotic. She held a bottle of water and appeared to be waiting for someone. Gathering his courage, Randall approached her with a disarming smile. "Excuse me," he began, "could you tell me where the nearest restroom is?" The woman turned to him, her large, luminous eyes studying him for a moment before she replied, "There are no public restrooms here. Residents use facilities in their homes." Randall feigned surprise. "Interesting," he said, though his true intention was not to discuss restrooms. "I must say, I'm not from around here. My name is Randall. May I ask yours?" "Quira," she replied, her voice melodic and calm. "Quira," Randall repeated, savoring the sound. "A beautiful name for a beautiful woman. Would you care to join me for a drink? I'd love to learn more about this fascinating place." Quira hesitated briefly, but found herself intrigued by this charismatic stranger. His confidence, combined with an aura of mystery, piqued her interest. "All right," she agreed, and together they walked to a nearby cafe. The establishment was a marvel of design, with walls that seemed to pulse gently with energy and tables that floated inches above the ground. Randall and Quira chose a quiet corner and began to talk. Quira shared stories of Vega Colony's history, its founding as a hub for interstellar diplomacy, and its commitment to cultural and scientific exchange. She spoke of the colony's advanced technologies and the harmonious coexistence of its inhabitants. Randall listened intently, captivated by her knowledge and eloquence. When it was his turn, Randall recounted tales of his life on Earth. He spoke of his business empire, his philanthropic efforts, and the beauty of his home planet. He described Earth's breathtaking landscapes, its rich history, and its diverse cultures. Quira listened with rapt attention, her imagination painting vivid pictures of the world he described. As their conversation deepened, Randall began to sense Quira's growing curiosity about Earth. He decided it was time to broach the subject that had been on his mind since their meeting. "Quira," he said, leaning forward slightly, "I can see you're intrigued by Earth. What if I told you I could take you there?" Quira's eyes widened. "You could do that?" "I can," Randall replied, tapping the suitcase beside him. "This is your ticket." Quira looked at the suitcase, her mind racing. The idea was unconventional, even risky, but the thought of seeing Earth was too enticing to resist. "I'll do it," she said finally, her voice steady with determination. Randall smiled, relieved and excited. "Then let's not waste any time." Leaving the cafe, they made their way to a quieter part of the colony. Randall led Quira to a secluded alleyway, where he placed the suitcase on the ground and opened it. "Climb in," he instructed gently. Quira hesitated for a moment, but trusted Randall's judgment. She carefully folded herself into the suitcase, and Randall closed it securely. With the suitcase in hand, Randall returned to the spacecraft, blending seamlessly with the other passengers. When someone remarked on the weight of his luggage, he dismissed it with a casual explanation about souvenirs. During the journey back to Earth, Randall kept the suitcase close, his heart racing with anticipation. When the spacecraft finally landed, he wasted no time in returning to his private residence. Once inside, he opened the suitcase and Quira emerged, her eyes wide with wonder as she took in her new surroundings. "Welcome to Earth," Randall said with a smile. Quira stepped out of the suitcase, her movements careful and deliberate, as though she were adjusting to the unfamiliar gravity of this new world. Her iridescent skin caught the light streaming in through the large windows of Randall's home, giving her an ethereal glow. For a moment, she simply stood there, her luminous eyes scanning her surroundings. "This is incredible," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. Randall watched her, his smile growing wider. He had spent years building his estate, a sprawling property nestled in the heart of nature, far from the bustling cities. The house itself was a blend of modern architecture and natural elements, with floor-to-ceiling windows that offered panoramic views of rolling hills and dense forests. "You haven't seen anything yet," Randall said, gesturing toward the living room. "Come, let me show you around." Quira followed him, her steps tentative but curious. The living room was spacious, with sleek furniture and an enormous fireplace that added warmth to the minimalist design. The walls were adorned with artwork from various parts of the world, each piece carefully chosen by Randall during his travels. "This is your home?" Quira asked, her voice tinged with amazement. "Yes," Randall replied. "And now it's yours too, for as long as you'd like." Quira turned to him, her expression softening. "Thank you, Randall. I don't know how I can ever repay you." Randall shook his head. "You don't need to repay me, Quira. Bringing you here is enough." He led her to the kitchen next, a state-of-the-art space filled with the latest appliances. Quira's eyes widened as she took in the sight of the shiny metallic surfaces and the array of gadgets. Randall opened the refrigerator, revealing an assortment of food and beverages. "Are you hungry?" he asked. Quira hesitated. "I'm curious. What kind of food do you eat here?" Randall chuckled. "Let's find out what you like." He began pulling out various items, fresh fruits, bread, and a selection of spreads. Quira watched closely as he prepared a small plate, her curiosity evident in the way her eyes followed his every move. When he handed her the plate, she examined it for a moment before taking a bite. "This is different," she said, chewing thoughtfully. "But I like it." Randall laughed. "I'll take that as a good sign." After their impromptu meal, he continued the tour, showing her the bedrooms, the library filled with shelves of books, and finally, the outdoor patio. The patio overlooked a tranquil lake, its surface shimmering under the afternoon sun. Quira stepped out onto the patio, breathing in the crisp, fresh air. She walked to the edge, her gaze fixed on the water. "This world," she said softly, "it's so alive, so full of energy." Randall joined her, his hands resting on the railing. "It is, and there's so much more for you to see. This is just the beginning." They stood there in silence for a while, taking in the beauty of the moment. The gentle rustling of leaves and the distant calls of birds created a serene backdrop, a stark contrast to the bustling environment of Vega Colony. As the sun began to set, casting hues of orange and pink across the sky, Randall turned to Quira. "There's something magical about sunsets here. They never fail to remind me how vast and beautiful this world is." Quira nodded, her gaze never leaving the horizon. "It's unlike anything I've ever seen." That evening, Randall prepared a simple dinner, and they ate under the stars on the patio. Quira marveled at the constellations, many of which were unfamiliar to her. Randall pointed out a few, sharing their names and the stories behind them. When it was time to rest, Randall showed Quira to a guest room. The bed with its soft linens and plush pillows looked inviting, but Quira hesitated. "Is this for me?" she asked, almost disbelieving. Randall nodded. "Of course, you'll be comfortable here. If you need anything, just let me know." Quira smiled, a rare and genuine expression that lit up her face. "Thank you, Randall, for everything." As Randall closed the door, he felt a sense of fulfillment he hadn't experienced in years. Bringing Quira to Earth had been a gamble, but seeing her wonder and joy made it all worthwhile. In the quiet of the night, as he lay in his own bed, Randall couldn't help but think about the days ahead. There was so much he wanted to show Quira, so much he wanted her to experience, and as he drifted off to sleep, he felt a newfound sense of purpose, knowing that this was only the beginning of their journey together.